Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. We have somebody really big. Hold on. No way. No way. Hello.
Hi.
Um, Hi. I'm sorry. It's nice to meet you
It's nice.
after years of seeing your amazing content.
Oh my gosh. Hi. I'm just like inviting on random people and I saw your name. You're a medium?
Surely.
Tell me about that.
My name is Scott. I'm a medium and a psychic. I've been doing this for quite a few years professionally, and about 2.5 years here on TikTok.
Whoa.
Yeah.
When did you know that you had special abilities?
When I was a little kid, I would have like conversations with people, and my parents would kind of like brush me off as having like imaginary friends. But then when I got into my early 30s, I had a really crazy thing happen that I couldn't dismiss, where I brought information that I got kind of like in my head to somebody, and they were like, "This is my dad." And there's no way you can know anything like this because my dad's been passed and you never met him. So that's uh, that's where my journey started for real.
That was like the moment you knew.
Yeah, well, I didn't really. So it's funny because I actually tried to disprove because I'm a law enforcement officer, so I'm very skeptical of things in the world. So for about a year straight, I was like, "There's no way this is a real thing." So I sat down with people and I just tested myself, and eventually I was just like, "I guess this is a real thing."
Wow.
Yeah.
You want to test it with me?
Oh, you're gonna put me on the spot?
Just a
All
little.
right, let me see. Give me a second.
Just a little.
I wasn't doing any readings, but let's see what we can pull. And you're a pretty popular person, but I didn't know we were going to be talking today, so you don't know much.
There you go. You didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Then
I
you
knew
did.
today was going to be special because we were just reading our weekly affirmation that we were going to be reaching out and doing more in the world.
Ooh, I love that.
Okay.
Okay, what do I do? What do I do?
You ever had a mediumship reading before?
Dude, I went to one psychic once. I found her online and then I went and literally halfway through my reading, she was like, just to let you know, I'm not actually a psychic. And I was like, what? And she goes,
How?
I know. She goes, I'm more of a life coach. I'm like,
Okay.
what the? Like, you have a sign on your door that says psychic, and literally halfway through my reading, she's like, just to let you know, I'm not actually psychic. I'm like,
That
oh
is,
my God.
that's pretty funny and more honest than I've heard anybody pretty much ever be about what they
Yeah.
are.
I'm like,
So,
I didn't ask for a life coach, but whatever. It was funny. I do appreciate the honesty, but oh my God. So yeah, so not really, no. I haven't had much experience in this.
all right, cool. So let me so I'll explain it to you and then we'll go, okay? I am a medium. I'm an evidentiary medium, which means that the information that comes through should be pretty specific to the person who's passed. And you should be able to say, like, I know who that is based on the information that's coming through, okay?
Yes.
So with that, let's see if I can have anybody stop on through for you, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So a lot of things is like playing spirit charades. So here we go. So there's first off a woman who seems to have stepped forward with me, and the first thing that she did was she seemed a little bit nervous, and she kind of like did one of these. So she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna see if like this is something we should do." Then as I'm watching her, what's really interesting is I feel like she took this is going to sound kind of silly, but she took some saran wrap and put it down in front of me. And then I feel like we put like maybe flour or some sort of seasoning on it. And then I've taken corn and put it on there or something else that looks to me like corn and we're wrapping it up. And she is making me feel as though this is like some sort of special dish that she would have prepared. I'm not familiar with really cooking it at all. I'm not allowed in the kitchen. Um, So I'm just gonna give you the best bet of what she's talked to me about. So she takes the stuff, she puts it down, she rolls it up, and it feels like some sort of very savory dish that she's creating that rolls up, that reminds me of corn. As I'm looking at her, she's probably about, I would say, 75 to 80 years old at the time she passes. She's pretty frail looking. I'm seeing a ring on her finger. I don't think it's a wedding ring though. It looks like a ring with like a dark stone in it, maybe like an I don't know, some like an onyx stone or something like that, but it's cut like an oval. It seems to be. It's funny. I feel like she's saying, "I've taken all of the." She's like remind. She's like, "I've taken all the celery out of the recipe." By the way, whatever that means. Can you show me about your passing? As she's talking to me about her passing, there's two things that are really important. She is like honing me into her circulatory system, like blood veins and stuff like that. I feel like she may have had some sort of blood cancer because as I'm looking at her, she's talking to me about having a port put in and having to get like constant chemo done. And she was pretty sick for a pretty long time, but she fought and fought, it feels like, until finally she passed. With all that stuff coming through, does that sound like anybody you know?
The the woman, yes, that it feels closest to would be my aunt, my godmother, who I think I've been thinking about her daily since she passed. And she passed just uh, about just 2 years ago. And she was like mid 70s, and I believe she had blood cancer. The thing is, she had marks all over her body, but she didn't go into the hospital for that. She went in for something else. But I went to go, but we believe she did have blood cancer. And I went to go say goodbye to her. I flew home 2 years ago and I spent the last week with her. She was like the person, she was like my second mom. So
Hmm.
she was the one that got me to walk. She pulled off her gold bracelet and said, Laura, come here. And I walked right to it for the first time. She was the one who got me sober off drugs 13 years ago when I was an addict. She was the one that saw that I had a problem and got me clean. So she was like my mom. Yeah, and the only thing is that she wasn't Catholic, and so I don't think she would have done that unless she was doing it as a joke, because I think
Okay.
she was atheist. So I think she could have been doing that as a
Well,
joke, or
perhaps
maybe
she
I don't
did that because I have many people who come through who did not believe in the afterlife or anything else. And when they come through, they kind of give us a confirmation of things that do actually exist. Now, I don't want to put any words in her mouth, but that's the first thing she did was like almost like like confirmation, like no, there's something.
Yes, yes. It's like I knew when I knew her, she was never religious, but I hear that a lot that towards the end of someone's life, or you're talking about, right, so you're meeting her as in her afterlife, right?
Hmm.
So that she's found God, essentially.
Yeah. Can we talk real quick? Do you know what kind of food or whatever she might have been rolling up? That's so interesting.
That I don't, it could have been like a cornbread or something. The only thing I know that we would make together was she would make this like Caesar salad, and we would make that together, or we would go out to this like Mexican restaurant together, and those were like our two food memories that I had with her. So I'm
Did
not
you,
quite sure what
did
that would have.
you recently do something where you rolled stuff up? Sometimes they show me things that you have recently done. And this is like one of the first things she did was like like wrapping stuff up into like a roll or something.
Like, what kind of role are we
I
talking?
felt like it was going to be food. I could be wrong, but like I put paper down or plastic and then I put something inside of it and I rolled it up and I felt like it became a tube. and I felt like I was gonna eat it, but it's like playing charades sometimes. I have to kind of figure it out as we go.
Well, my family was just in town and I just cooked with my mom who just turned 72 and she and her and I just made like fajitas where we put corn and vegetables and beans
So,
into a
yeah.
tortilla and rolled it up.
Yes, there it is. She did that because while you and your mom were working together, she was there watching you and being with you in that moment. So,
No.
yes, that's why she's saying it because she's like, "Look, talk about this thing that they just did." And that's why she was like rolling up the everything for me like corn and I was like, "It looks like corn. Why am I doing that?" And a fajita is right on the money. That's kind of right
That's
in the book.
literally what it was. And so we had all these tortillas and we were making fajitas and tacos as well.
Yep.
And my dad was also there, and that's my godmother's little brother. And so it makes sense that she would want to be there because my dad was there as well. And so
Yeah, the whole family.
the whole family, yeah. Whoa, that's crazy. I think about her all the time.
And that would be the reason why she would step up with you. I often tell my audience that when you're thinking about them, that's the time when they come in and they are with you. So it's a two-way street. We meet them in the middle. And for you, being her family member, you don't have to like kind of navigate through the strangest of meeting somebody. They're just there with you because they're people you love and know. So they are just with you. And that's how it works. So whenever you're thinking about her, whenever you need her, all you have to do is say like, "Hey, I need you. It would be really nice to have you around." And in that instant, they're there with you.
So that's amazing. This other thing happened to me. My cousin overdosed and passed away a few years back as well. And she was also very close to me, and she was 37, beautiful, smart, so funny, and left behind her young son. But she just was an addict. And so I think about her a lot too. And there was this one night I was laying in bed and I just wanted to talk to her. And so I just started talking to her. I just said, Amanda, like, I just wanted to tell her about my day. And then the light in the bathroom flickered. And I was like, is that her? Like, is that her? Or is that just,
So 10 years ago, I would have told you to get your electricity changed,
yeah.
but I am also a paranormal investigator, and we work on something called timing and relevance. So the fact that you were looking for a sign
Yeah.
and in the timing you got a light flicker, that's the relevance. So you were asking for something to happen and it did. So to me, that's a very direct correlation of the timing for her to come through and be like, "This is the best I can do. Let me flash the light for you."
Like
But
boom, the light just went boom. Like it was just crazy. And I just was like, that's her. I just knew. But then I started doubting myself. And then there was another time where I was really missing her and crying. I went to this local Thai place to get a massage, and they had this woman that looked kind of like her. And I was like, okay. And she wasn't Thai, but whatever. And so I lay down and my head is in the thingy. And she starts talking to me while she's massaging me. And I'm not kidding you. She talked like her. She had the same sense of humor as her. The story she was telling me about her boyfriend and her son, and she was really out there and funny, and just everything was my cousin. And I never talk during massages, but this entire hour, I just talked to her, and I felt like an hour with my cousin again.
it's
And I
amazing.
didn't know, like, could my cousin have come through her, or is that a thing? Because
Yeah,
I
so that's
swear
a
to
little
God.
bit different than mediumship. We call that channeling. And it's really interesting. The two people who are in my opinion, the best at doing that are massage therapists and also people who cut hair because their hands are constantly in our energy and our biosphere and all this kind of stuff. So she really had a really good connection with you, and your cousin found an opportunity to go ahead and have that moment with you. So if you were looking for that deep connection, just like today where you were saying like you were thinking about your godmother
Yeah.
and I mean, you found me by accident, I assume, and you know,
Oh,
I happened to be live and you were like, "Let's check this guy out." And you had somebody come through to let you know that they're doing okay and they're looking out for you and they were at your family gathering. Same thing with that masseuse. Your cousin saw an opening in somebody that would be open and let it happen.
wow. That's incredible. Thank you so much, Scotty, for taking the time. That's amazing.
For being here. If you wouldn't mind, if you could give me a follow, I'd love to send you a T-shirt or something.
I would love
For
that.
having me
I
on.
would love that. I'll follow you back right now.
Thank you. What
All
are you?
right,
You're
Scotty,
so
thank
lovely.
you. It was
You're
nice to
welcome.
meet you. Maybe we were meant to meet.
I think we were. I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Scotty. You're amazing.
You are.